Hello everyone, myself Professor Chavan. We have started the third chapter from our 11th Science CBSE board for the subject physics. In previous lecture we have learned about the graphs and how the slope of a graph is important to find out the third quantity. Okay, if we have the two quantities and there is some relation between the two quantities, then we can find out the third quantity also. Okay, so that is the use of the slope of a graph. And depending on the slope of a graph, we can predict which is having the higher quantity of that particular physical quantity and which one will have the lower quantity. If we go for the comparison, then if we are having the two graphs in one single Cartesian system, then we can go for the comparison also, and by looking at that graph we can predict which is having the lower value of the quantity and which is having the higher value. Okay, so in today's lecture we are going to study the velocity time graph. Or we can call it as the VT curve. Okay, velocity time graph or the VT curve or the VT graph. Okay, VT graph. The name itself suggests what is the VT graph, because you are well known of the graphs. Okay, so what is the xt curve? Similarly we have to go for the VT curve. In the xt curve we have gone for some displacement and according to its time. Okay, now in this the VT curve we have to go for some velocity and the time. Now which quantity we have to consider for the x-axis and which quantity we have to consider for the y-axis? For that purpose also one simple clue is there, that when any quantity is changing continuously, then that quantity is taken along the x-axis. Okay, so if any quantity is changing continuously, that quantity is taken along the x-axis, and if any quantity can be a negative or positive, then that quantity is taken along the y-axis. So generally this rule we are applying for taking the any quantity along any Cartesian system. Okay, so in the VT curve, which quantity is changing continuously? It is the time, because time never stops. The time goes on. Okay, so that's why the time we have to take along the x-axis, and as the velocity can be a positive or a negative, we have to take the velocity along the positive y-axis and the positive negative y-axis. Okay, so accordingly we can draw the graph of a VT curve. Okay, so if we have the two physical quantities, we can show their relationship by using any Cartesian system. Okay, suppose we have one position of a particle and it is at rest, but it is having some, initially it is having some velocity. Okay, initially it is having some velocity. Then how to draw the VT curve for it? Okay, so we know this is the time, this is the positive V, this is the negative V. Okay, then this is 1, 2, 3, this is -1, -2, -3. Okay, so then if any particle is traveled and then it is at rest now and it is moving with the uniform displacement now, then in that case how can we show that particle? Okay, so we have to take one straight line. How much will be the velocity of that particular particle? Okay, suppose the particle is moving with 3 meters per second, then here we can show the straight line. Okay, we can show the straight line. So this value will represent the velocity. Okay, this value will represent the velocity, and this graph shows that it is continuously moving with the uniform velocity of 3 meters per second. Okay, this is the uniform velocity. Okay, this is the uniform velocity. Suppose the time goes on, but there is no any change in position of the particle. Okay, there is no any change in position of the particle. Then in that case, if we have to draw a graph, how can we draw that graph? Okay, no any change in position of a particle with respect to time. Minus v plus v. Okay, time goes on. There is no any change in position. The particle is at rest. Then in that case, velocity will be equal to 0. Okay, so velocity will be equal to 0. So we can say, we can locate that line of velocity along this line. So here v velocity is equal to 0. Okay, here along this line, the velocity will be equal to 0. Okay, so these are the two different conditions, that initially the object is having the velocity of the 3 meter per second, and it is moving continuously with that velocity. It is moving uniform velocity. Then how can we indicate it? We have to raise this line, and then this line we have to draw, which is a straight line and parallel to the x-axis. Means as the time goes on, the velocity also goes on by the similar speed or by the similar way. Okay, with respect to the time, the velocity also goes on by the similar way. So if we look at this line is parallel to this x-axis. The line is parallel to the x-axis, or we can say the time axis. Okay, so velocity and time, these are the two different quantities, but if we have to go for represent their relation, then we can draw such a graph. Okay, so if we are having some values of the velocity and respective time, okay, suppose we are having some velocity and respective time. Suppose we are having one table, then it is the velocity, it is the time, then at 0 it is 0, for time 10 it is the 1, 20, the 2, 30, it is the 3, we take one more, it is for the 40, it is 4. Okay, 40, it is 4. So if we have to indicate, if we have to represent these values on the VT graph, so for that purpose what we have to do, we have to draw one Cartesian system on which the velocity will be along the y-axis and the time will be along the x-axis. Okay, so we'll draw this. Okay, this is the velocity, this is the time, okay, and this is the origin. Okay, now if we draw this graph for this ring, then first of all we will show the coordinates 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then we have the readings 0, 0, it is 0, 0. We have the reading 1, 0, then 1, 10. So 1 and 10, we have to draw the perpendicular lines from this. Okay, when we draw the perpendicular lines from this, we get one meeting point. We will take this point and the coordinates will be 10, 1. Okay, coordinates will be 10 and 1. Then for the second point, 20 and 2. Okay, so for that purpose, draw perpendicular from the 20, then the perpendicular from the 2. Here will be the 20 and 2. And similarly for the third point, it is 30 and 3. Draw the perpendicular from the 3. Draw the perpendicular from the 30, then we will get one point, and this point will be the 30 and 3. Then for the 40 and 4, draw a perpendicular from the 40, draw the perpendicular from the 4. Okay, this point will indicate the 40 and 4. Okay, this point will indicate the 40 and 4. So in this, if we connect these points, we can get the, what we can get? By connecting this point, we will get one curve. Okay. So by connecting this point, we will get one curve. Okay. By connecting this point, we will get one curve. And when we have to find out the slope of this curve, for that purpose, what we have to do? When we have to find out the slope of this curve, then if you look at this is the one straight line. Okay. If you look at this is the one straight line. Because why? For the same time interval of 10 second, 10 second, 10 second, 10 second, the velocity also increase by 1 meter per second, 1 meter per second, 1 meter per second, 1 meter per second. So that's why here is the one straight line curve. So if in a VT curve, if we are getting one straight line curve, then in that case, what we can say that they are moving. There is a change in the velocity with the uniform velocity. Okay, there is a change in velocity with the uniform interval, or for the equal interval there is the equal change in the velocity. Okay, so if in the VT curve, if we are getting the straight line curve, then in that case the acceleration will be the uniform. Okay, in that case the acceleration will be uniform, because we are getting here a straight line curve. Okay, so we can see here, I forget to tell you, if we take the slope at this point, if we take the slope at this point, if we take the slope at this point, or if we take the slope at this point, okay, how is the value of the slope we are getting? That value of the slope will remain constant, because for the equal interval of time, the velocity also changes with the equal steps. Okay, the velocity also changes with the equal steps. So that's why here the time and the velocity, they are having the same intervals. Okay, so if you find out the slope here, the slope will be given as slope of a VT curve is equal to, suppose for this line here will be T1, T2, V1, V2. Okay, here the slope will be perpendicular upon base. Okay, perpendicular upon base. So what is the perpendicular here? What is the perpendicular here? If we count the perpendicular, it is the length of this perpendicular will be equal to V2 minus V1. Okay, V2 minus V1. And if we think about the base, it will be T2 minus T1. Okay, T2 minus T1. Okay, the slope is equal to V2 minus V1 upon T2 minus T1. Okay, so in this case, what is the V2 minus V1? It is the change in velocity upon time. Okay, what is does it is mean? It is the change in velocity upon time. So what is the change in velocity upon time? What it indicates? We studied in the accelerated motion. Acceleration is calculated as the time change of velocity. Okay, rate of change of velocity with respect to time. That is nothing but the acceleration. Slope. The slope of the VT curve will give us the value of the acceleration. Okay, the slope of a VT curve will give us the value of acceleration. Slope is equal to slope of a VT curve is equal to acceleration. Okay, the slope of VT curve will give us the acceleration. So if we have the graph of a VT curve, we will get the value of acceleration. Okay, we will get the value of acceleration. And that is the another part, that if for the equal interval of time, the velocity also increases with the equal steps, then that type of velocity, in that case we are getting the equal uniform acceleration. Okay, we have the uniform acceleration. Okay, so from the VT curve we will get the slope, and the slope indicates the value of acceleration. So slope of the VT curve will give us the acceleration. Okay, so remember that whenever there is the change in velocity with respect to time, then in that case it value gives us the acceleration. Okay, so whenever we have to indicate the VT curve, and in that if we are getting the value of V is equal to 0 with respect to time, or if we are getting the value of the velocity only along the x-axis, along the time axis, then in that case we can say that the particle is at rest. Okay, particle is at rest. Then if in a VT curve we see that the value of the velocity, the graph of the velocity is coming parallel to the time axis. Okay, the graph of the velocity curve is coming as the parallel to the y time axis, then in that case we can say that the velocity of that particular particle is the uniform velocity. Okay, the velocity of that particular particle is the uniform velocity. And the third case, when there is the, if in a VT curve we get the equal interval of time, for the equal interval of time if we get the equal change in the velocity, then in that case we get the uniform acceleration. Okay, we get the uniform acceleration, means for the equal interval of time we are getting the equal change in velocity. Here time is 10 seconds, time increased by 10 seconds, velocity increased by 1. Then time is equal to increased by 10 seconds, velocity increased by 2. Time increased by 10 seconds, the velocity increased by 1. Okay, so each and every step the velocity increase in the equal steps and for the equal time interval. So in that case it is the acceleration or the uniform acceleration. Okay, so if we compare this graph with respect to the xt curve, how is our xt curve? In the xt curve, okay, in the xt curve, this straight line indicates what? This straight line indicates the uniform velocity. Okay, this straight line indicates the uniform velocity, and in case of xt curve, to indicate the acceleration, which curve we are getting? We are getting this curve. Okay, this indicates the acceleration. Okay, if in xt curve we get the curve line, it indicates the acceleration, and if we get the curve like this, it gives us the retardation. Okay, it gives us the retardation. So in a VT curve, how to show the retardation or how to show the acceleration? So for that purpose we have to draw one VT curve. Okay, so if we draw one VT curve, in that how we can show the acceleration or how we can show the retardation? Suppose this is one VT curve. Okay, in this, if we get, this is the time, this is the velocity positive, this is the velocity negative. Okay, suppose in this case if we are getting the curve like this, okay, if we get the curve like this, then this curve, if we name it as the A, okay, then the another curve if we get like this, okay, then if we go for the some readings and we get the curve like this, so we name it as the C, okay, and if we get the fourth curve from some readings like this, okay, if we get the curve like this, then where is the acceleration and where is the retardation? Can you tell me where is the acceleration and where is the retardation? Yes, you can think on it. Where is the acceleration and where is the retardation? In this retardation we are getting like this curve in a concave shape. It is a convex shape. Okay, and in case of the VT curve, how to find out where is the acceleration and where is the retardation? Okay, so here if we observe this, we come to know that as the time changes, the velocity also goes on increasing. Okay, as the time changes, the velocity also goes on increasing. So the curve A will give us the acceleration. Okay, so the A will give us the acceleration, which is a positive. Okay, why I am telling you here positive? Because if you look at the second curve here, this curve in this case also, even if it is the velocity is in a downward direction, it is also goes on increasing. If we count here, suppose it is 0, this will be -1, -2, -3, here 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if we look at this curve, we come to know that the velocity initially here is the 0 and goes on increasing. If we find out the velocity at this point, it will be some negative velocity. Okay, it may be some negative velocity. Then in that case, what will be the formula, or what will be the velocity, or how there is the acceleration or retardation? If you see this, the velocity goes on increasing, but it is in the negative direction. So the graph B is showing the acceleration in the negative acceleration. Okay, it is also the acceleration, but it is the negative acceleration. Okay, now if you look at the third curve, that is the curve C, you come to know that initially the velocity is higher here. Okay, initially the velocity is higher here, and as the time goes on passing, the velocity decreases. Okay, the time goes on passing, the velocity decreases from, it is here maybe some 4 meters per second or something, and as the time goes on increasing, the velocity also decreases. So the C curve will give us the retardation. Okay, because there is the decrease in the velocity. Okay, this is the retardation, which is the one positive retardation. Okay, it is a retardation, but it is in the positive direction. Okay, now if you look at the fourth curve, that is the curve D, here again you come to know that the velocity, it is in a negative direction, and from it will goes on the decreasing. Okay, with respect to time, it goes on decreasing. Initially it is the, if you think about the magnitude, it is the 3 meter per second, and at this point it may be some 0 or 0.5 meter per second. So in this case, there is again the retardation, which is with the negative sign. Okay, so D curve will give us the retardation with the negative sign. Okay, retardation with the negative sign. So in this curve, from this curve we can say that the retardation we are getting in a velocity, either it is in a positive or negative, but if there is a change in the velocity from higher value to the lower value, we have to call it as the retardation. And if there is a change in velocity from lower value to the higher value, then in that case we have to call it as the acceleration. Okay, so if we take one small summary of the VT curve, okay, then in that case, if this is the VT curve, then in that case, if we get a straight line, then this straight line will indicate the uniform acceleration. Okay, it gives us the uniform acceleration. Then if we get some irregular curve like this, then this, it is a non-uniform acceleration. Okay, it will give us the non-uniform acceleration. And if we are getting the curve like this, then it is the retardation. Okay, it shows us the retardation. And if we are getting the curve like one straight line, then we can call it as the, it is the uniform velocity. Okay, it is the uniform velocity. Okay, so this is the combined curve for all the quantities. The uniform acceleration is there, the uniform velocity is there, non-uniform acceleration is there, the retardation is there. Okay, so from one curve we can get the number of physical quantities. Okay, from by observing the one curve we can get the number of physical quantities. Okay, so here this is the some types of retardation, and this is the combined VT curve for which we can predict either it is the uniform acceleration, uniform velocity, or the object is at rest, then the velocity will be along this time axis, and for the retardation it is like this one concave curve. Okay, so by this we can go for some VT graphs and the slope of the VT graph. The slope of the VT graph indicates the acceleration. Okay, the slope of the VT graph will give us the change in velocity upon time, and slope will give us the acceleration. Okay, so the next step we have to go in the VT curve is the area under the VT curve. Okay, so we will see that area under the VT curve. As the slope of the VT curve gives us the acceleration, the area of the VT curve also gives one physical quantity. Area under VT graph. Okay, area under VT graph. Okay, so if we consider the VT graph, okay, this is the velocity, this is the time. Then in this case, if we draw one velocity with a uniform velocity, okay, so if we draw one line for a uniform velocity, then we will get one curve like one straight line. Okay, we will get one curve like one straight line. So in this case, if we have to find out the area under this curve, then what is the process to find out the area? What is the process to find out the area? Think that whenever we have to find out the area, we always have to take the projections along the time axis only, or along the x axis only. We don't have to go along the vertical axis. Okay, whenever we have to go for finding the area, we have to take the projections along that axis along which there is the continuous change in the quantity. Okay, in which axis, along which axis there is a continuous change in quantity, along that axis we have to take the projections of this curve. Okay, so if we take the projections of this curve, okay, if we take the projections of this curve, then suppose it is at the t1, this is at the t2, okay, t1, this is the t2, and the total time interval is t. Okay, or the total time interval it is t. Then here will be v1, or it is here of v1 will be v1. Okay, so if we consider the area under this curve, okay, if we look at this, how it looks, the area under the VT curve, how it looks, it is looking like one rectangle. Okay, it is looking like one rectangle. So how to find out the area of the rectangle? It is nothing but the length into width. Okay, so where is the length of this rectangle? Where is the length of this rectangle? We can come to know it is from this. Okay, this is the length of this rectangle, and this value indicates the velocity. Okay, this will give us the velocity, or the change in the velocity we can call. Okay, initially here will be 0 here, then it will be v here. Okay, so it will be change in the velocity. Okay, so this gives us the length and this gives us the width. So if we think out the width, it is the t2 minus t1. So if we can call it as the delta t. Okay, we can call it as the delta t. So to find the area under the curve, area is equal to area of rectangle. Okay, is equal to, what is the length? Length is equal to v minus 0 into t2 minus t1. Okay, t2 minus t1. So what is the v minus 0? It is the v, and t2 minus t1 we have considered v delta t. Okay, so we have the term v into delta t. So if we think more about it, what is the v into delta t? What is the v into delta t? Think about the previous lectures. What is the v into delta t? It is nothing but the displacement. Okay, it is nothing but the displacement. So v into delta t will give us the displacement. Okay, the v into delta t will give us the displacement. So if we look at this, the area of under the VT curve will give us the displacement. Okay, because as velocity is equal to displacement upon time. Okay, so here displacement is equal to velocity into time. Okay, that is, here the area under VT graph will give us the displacement. Okay, the area under VT graph will give us the displacement. Okay, so remember this thing, that the area under VT graph will give us the displacement. Okay, now you can come to know that area under the VT graph gives us the displacement, and slope of the VT curve will give us the acceleration. Okay, slope of the VT curve will give us the acceleration. Now what if we get the irregular shaped curve? Okay, what if we get the irregular shaped curve? Then in that case we can find out this by some our calculus methods. Okay, to find out the area under the irregular shape, we can find out by using some calculus methods. Okay, suppose we get the VT curve. Okay, this is the VT curve, and in that we get the curve like this. Okay, then how to find out area under such a curve? So for that purpose we have to take first the projections. Okay, first take the projections on the time axis, then divide this. Okay, divide this into, okay, so that here we will get one rectangle. Again at this point we will get one rectangle. Again if we connect this here, we will get one triangle. And suppose we connect this, we will get one triangle. Okay, so like this we have to divide this area into number of parts. Okay, we have to divide this area into number of parts, and then by combining all these areas we will get one rectangle there. Okay, by combining all these areas we will get the area under the VT curve. Okay, so first of all here in this we can find the area of this rectangle, then the area of this rectangle, area of this rectangle, then area of this triangle. Okay, area of this triangle, then area of this triangle. Then if I connect this, here again we will get one triangle. Okay, here again if I connect this, I will get one triangle. Here again if I connect this, I will get one triangle. Okay, so we will get the approximate area under the curve if we divide that part up to some graphical methods in which we can divide it. Okay, how many number of parts we are dividing that area under the graph? We have to take the sum of all the areas. Means in this rectangle, 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 we get the 3 rectangles. Count, calculate the area for each rectangle. Then here is the one triangle, here is one triangle, triangle, triangle. So according to the coordinates of the VT, find out the area of each and every triangle. Okay, according to area of the VT, find out the area of each triangle, and whenever we have to go for finding the area under this VT curve, just take the summation of all the areas of the rectangles plus the area of all the triangles, and this will give us the approximate value. Why I am calling you approximate? That part we will see in the calculus methods for our calculations. Okay, differentiation and integration. Okay, because in such a type of irregular shape we are getting the approximate area under the graph. Okay, suppose we are having such a standard profile, like if we think we have one trapezium here. Okay, we have one trapezium here. Then in such a profile we can get the direct area. Okay, we can get the direct area. So area of area is equal to, we can write down here, area of the triangle plus area of this rectangle plus area of this triangle. Okay, by adding the areas of these three profiles separately, we can find out the area of this standard profile. Okay, so if we get the standard profile, then we can apply our standard formulas there, and we can find out the area for this graph. Okay, the area under this graph will be like the area of the triangle, then area of the rectangle, and area of this rectangle. Okay, so by using such techniques of finding the area of the graph under the VT curve, we can find out the displacement of that particular object. How much will be the displacement of that particular object when it moves with some particular velocity, and even if there is a change in velocity with respect to the time, then how much will be the its displacement covered by that object, that we can find out by calculating the area under the VT curve. Okay, if we go for the standard formula for here, then we can use the area of a trapezium also. So area is equal to, we can get height, this total height into half of the sum of the length of parallel lines. Okay, half of the sum of length of parallel lines. Okay, so this value can give us directly the area under this trapezoidal shape, because area of a trapezoidal is equal to height of a trapezoidal into which height? Height means distance between the two parallel lines. This is one parallel line, this is the another parallel line, and if we think it is the height, so half into height into half of the sum of the length of the two parallel lines, that will give us directly the area. Or we can divide this profile into the triangle, rectangle, and a triangle, and then we can take the sum of all these areas. Okay, and if we have the irregular shapes, then we can go by triangle, rectangle, triangle, triangle. Okay, we have to divide such a irregular shape into number of parts so that we can calculate its area. Okay, we have to divide this profile into number of parts so that we can calculate this area, and we will get the our approximate area. Remember, in case of the irregular shape, we are getting the approximate area. Okay, because whenever we are considering here some triangle, here also if you look at this, here at this point some space is remaining, here when I am drawing this line, here some space is remaining, and here also some space is remaining. So this some spaces which are very small, we can't go for the measurement of area of such small spaces. Okay, so such a small errors are there while calculating the area, and to reduce such a small errors, we have to go by some calculus methods like the differentiation and the integration. Okay, so also we have to study that methods in the next lectures. Okay, so we will go for the differentiation and integration in the next lecture. That part we will study in the next lecture. So in such a VT curve, if we have to go for the finding the area of the VT curve, it gives us the value of the displacement, and if we have the slope of the VT curve, it gives us the what? It gives us the acceleration. Okay, so we can write down the summary of this like between the XT curve and the VT curve, if we write slope of VT curve or VT graph gives is equal to acceleration. Okay, slope of VT graph is equal to acceleration, and area under VT graph will give us the displacement. Okay, remember this point, that a slope of a VT graph gives us the acceleration, and area under VT graph gives us the displacement. Now in case of XT curve, the slope of a XT curve slope of xt curve or the graph gives us the velocity. Okay, the slope of the xt curve gives us the velocity. Okay, and we don't know about the area, we can't go for that particular quantity. Okay, we don't have a standard formula that for the area under the xt curve. Okay, so what is important, that area under the vt curve is the displacement. Now if we take the summarized graph for the vt and the xt, vt, in that the straight line indicates the uniform velocity. Okay, indicates the uniform velocity. Thus such a straight line indicates the uniform acceleration. Okay, such a curve will give us the non-uniform acceleration. Then if we get the curve like this, okay, so such a curve will give us the retardation. And if after some velocity, if we get one straight line, then this will give us the uniform velocity. Okay, this curve will give us the uniform velocity. Now in case of xt, in case of xt curve, the straight line indicates what? The straight line indicates uniform velocity. Okay, the straight line indicates the uniform velocity. Then such a, it indicates the uniform velocity. Then such a curve will indicate the acceleration. Okay, it may be uniform or non-uniform, that we get idea after we plot it on the vt curve. Okay, so this is the xt curve. Okay, this is the acceleration, and if we have to find out the retardation, we get the retardation as the curve shape like this. Okay, this is the retardation in the xt curve. And for the uniform displacement, we get one line which is parallel to the time axis and which indicates the uniform displacement. Okay, uniform displacement. Okay, so these are the some differences between the xt curve and the vt curve. If you look at these two graphs, and if you understand these two graphs, even if you look at these two graphs, you can get the idea how is the motion. Okay, how is the motion? You don't have to go for any further calculations. If you have the number of readings with you for the position and the displacement or the velocity and the time, then in that case, if you draw the graph, then you will get directly it is behavior. Either it is with the uniform velocity, either it is with the acceleration, either it is having some retardation. Okay, so without any numericals, we can go for finding the third quantity in case of a graph. That is the use of a graph in physics, because it will avoid the number of numerical part whenever we have to go for the some third quantity or finding the relation between the one quantity, and if we have to find out the third quantity. Okay, so in this case, if we know the displacement at any point, and if we have to find out the time period at that particular instant, then we have to draw one perpendicular along this straight line. Okay, and from this straight line, if we draw one perpendicular on this time axis, then we will get the respective time for that particular displacement. Okay, so similarly in case of vt, if we have to find out the particular acceleration at that particular time, then we can go for finding the time. Okay, so like this, if we have the know the any physical quantity, we can go for finding the any third physical quantity, or we can give the relation between the two physical quantities by using the graphs. Okay, so this is the very important parts in the physics. Okay, these parts you have to use at the time of your practicals. Okay, so at that time you must draw such a graphs very carefully by note down the reading. You are having some readings and you have to draw that graphs, and from that graphs you have to find out either there is any uniform acceleration or the uniform velocity. Okay, so without calculation you have to do that practicals, and you have to use the graphical methods only. Okay, and depending on such a graphical methods we have to solve some problems, and that numericals we will see in the next lecture.